Hello and welcome back to Hestia's Muse, podcast for astrological devotionals. My name is Liliana Blackstar, and I am here to bring you a spiritual devotional of self-discovery and personal growth that is in some way inspired by astrology. Join me to tune into astrological transits and the Wheel of the Year for inspiration in your greatest task in life, to know yourself. Hello friends, thank you so much for tuning in. I am excited to talk to you today about the Virgo New Moon. So this can apply years down the road to any Virgo New Moon, but specifically I'm gearing up for the new moon on September 14th of 2023. The moon will actually enter Virgo on September 12th at 10:18 p.m. Pacific time. And at that time, it is still a dark, waning moon, and it becomes a new moon when it makes the exact conjunction with the sun and for the 10 degrees after the conjunction with the sun. At least that's how I personally have come to differentiate between the waning dark moon and the new moon and new crescent, because I do feel that there is an energetic difference. So let's talk about that for just a second. Before the new moon, we are in the waning crescent phase of the moon. And as the moon approaches the conjunction with the sun, it's getting closer to the sun, it is not visible at nighttime anymore. So that's why we call it the dark moon, because the moon is actually following the sun across the sky. It's very close to the sun, so as the sun is going across the sky, the moon is right close to it, but we can't see it because the sun just is so bright that it kind of blinds out, makes this big blind spot around it, and we can't really see that moon there in the daytime either. But when the sun goes down, the moon goes down with it. And so there's no sun or moon in the nighttime sky, and that's why we have this period called the dark moon. Now, in ancient times, a long time ago, they would say that the new moon would be the day at the time that you can finally see the moon again. So it would be the waxing crescent phase, when the moon finally got far enough away from the sun that you could see that little sliver of a crescent in the sky. And that would be what they considered the new moon in a lot of places. We today have astrological tools and computers that can make calculations, and we can see the moment when the moon passes from one side of the sun and makes the exact conjunction and then emerges on the other side of the sun, even though we can't physically see it yet. And so a lot of the calculations, when you see what time the new moon is on a website or in a book that is talking about the exact conjunction when the moon and sun are at the exact same degree. And then after that, the moon will emerge and start to get farther away from the sun, and it will start to grow, and that's the beginning of the waxing phase, as the moon gets farther away from the sun and starts to get far enough away that it is reflecting light, and the crescent begins to grow, and that is the waxing of the moon, when it is getting larger as it gets farther away from the sun and reflects more of the sun's light back to us. So I like to think of the dark waning crescent when it is a dark moon and it is within 30 degrees before the conjunction. I like to think of that as the final period of the moon cycle. So if we have a lunar month that starts with the new moon, this is like the last day or two before the new moon. And it is that dark moon that is in the waning phase, and it is a period of shadow work. It's releasing, it's detoxifying, it's forgiveness, it's letting go, and it's resting. This is the energy of that. On my Patreon blog, for my Patreon subscribers, I have dark moon shadow work articles that come out during the dark moon every month, talking about the shadow side of the sign that the moon is in. So you can use that as prompts to do some shadow work and dig a little deeper into that shadow work process during the dark moon. It's a really good time for it. And then the moon reaches its exact conjunction with the sun, and for the period of that conjunction and a time after is the new moon. So the moon is reborn. I like to think of the conjunction as the moment of rebirth. The baby is crowning and coming out of the mother, so to speak. And so the moon is reborn, and a new cycle begins, a new lunar month begins, and this is why people find it very powerful to set new goals and intentions with the new moon. Because we do the same thing at the new year. When a new year starts, we set new goals and intentions. And we do that at the beginning of every lunar month on a smaller scale. So making wishes, setting intentions, and setting goals for the new cycle is something that a lot of people find a lot of power in doing, because it is like a fresh, brand new month. A fresh, brand new cycle is beginning, and we are at a seed planting stage. And then we can hopefully water that seed as the moon is waxing, and as the moon's light grows, so does our manifestation power, right? And then we get to the full moon, and it's kind of a culmination energy. And then after the full moon, the moon starts to shrink again, and that's a period of releasing and letting go of any blockages that are preventing us from manifesting our goal. So we're still possibly working on manifesting, but we are also letting go after the full moon. So that's kind of how this whole cycle works. So just setting goals, any goal you want to, is perfect for the new moon. But I like to take it a step further and go a little bit deeper and create goals or intentions that align with the energy of the sign that the new moon is in. So the moon and the sun are sharing a sign. So this is powerful. Both of the luminaries, moon and sun, are united in this moment of rebirth. And so if we want to tap into that a little deeper, we would make our goals and intentions align with the energy of that sign. So that's why I like to have a bit of a powerful intention setting session where I think about what sign the moon is in, and then I try to set goals that are aligned with the energy of that sign. We've already been talking about Virgo a lot in the past 2 blog posts. Podcasts. I have talked about 2 of the tarot cards that are associated with the sign of Virgo. And coming up in a few days, I'll have the 3rd Virgo Deacon tarot card coming out. So you're already familiar with some of the Virgo energy if you've listened to those. If not, you can still go back and have a listen. But Virgo is the mutable earth sign ruled by the planet Mercury. It is the end of summer in the northern hemisphere and the beginning of harvest season. So we can kind of look to the harvest season energy to understand Virgo a little bit. We are needing to be helpful and service-oriented, organized, detail-oriented, discerning, practical, analytical, and adaptable. You need all of these things to be able to bring in that harvest and process or preserve the foods so that they can be saved, so they don't go to waste, so that they get distributed properly to all the people who need them, etc. So we are collectively switching gears from summer to fall, and we need to think ahead with discernment to prepare for the harvest and prepare food and get ready for winter. And then also at this time, we have many people returning to school, and we switch from playful vacation mode to analytical reasoning and learning mode. So one of the main reasons that people go to school is to learn a skill or a trade that will help them better serve their community. Doctors and nurses learn the details of healing and bodily function so they can become better healers. Mechanics learn how things work and how to repair or build things so that they can provide a service to their community, etc. Most of the time when you're learning something, it is a skill or a knowledge that is some way not only going to help you, but you knowing that thing is going to in some way enrich and improve your community or the lives of your family or the people around you. So this is why the nature of Virgo is related to service and related to the mercurial energy of learning and paying attention to details. We are motivated to learn things or pay attention to the details because it will result in us being able to more efficiently serve others or serve a purpose that helps others. And honestly, most people just want to be helpful. That is the truth. We don't want to be in the way. We want to be helpful. We want to be providing a service. So another important aspect of Virgo energy is self-care. And we have all had times when we are so focused on helping others or doing our job, serving our purpose, that we forget to take care of ourselves, or we put off taking care of ourselves. We put ourselves like at the bottom of our priority list. Or we're so focused on learning that we get like this tunnel vision and we forget to do the practical daily things that help us function. Who can remember being a student and getting so involved in your studies and your homework that you forgot to eat and didn't have time to take a shower? Or the times that we are just really focused on work and we just aren't taking the time to give ourselves the self-care because we are super busy, right? But eventually this leads to burnout. We become sick or worn down, and we can't continue to go to work or school. And in the end, this is not efficient. And Virgo wants efficiency. So part of the Virgo lesson is that if you want to effectively and efficiently serve your community and serve others and be valuable and useful to your community, you have to remember to take care of yourself. It's like the emergency guidelines on an airplane that you have to put the oxygen mask on yourself before you can help someone else put their oxygen mask on. It's like that. We have to remember to drink water, get enough sleep, get enough healthy food and protein and vitamins, and, take care of our teeth and take care of our body's basic needs so that then we can be strong enough and healthy enough to show up for other people and to provide a service for other people. So for your Virgo new moon goals, it's going to be great if you set intentions about learning more and improving a skill that helps you better serve others. But don't forget to also set goals or intentions for better self-care so that you don't burn out and you can more efficiently continue helping others. So you might want to set goals around creating routines or habits for the practical daily things that keep you healthy and functional. Remember, one of the key words of Virgo is practical, practicality. So what are the practical daily things that you need to do every day, and how can you create better routines and better time management so that you are taking care of those basic practical things so that you can show up in the world more efficiently and be more helpful and more valuable and more efficient at what it is you're trying to do in the world. So some ideas for Virgo goals or intentions that you might want to think about setting with this Virgo new moon. Creating and maintaining routines for better health and self-care. Creating and maintaining routines for better time management. Cleaning your house or organizing your belongings. Fall cleaning. We hear about spring cleaning a lot, but now is the time for our fall cleaning to kind of help us prepare for the dark half of the year, preparing for fall, preparing for colder weather, darker nights, etc. And Virgo's very good at organizing and making discerning choices about, like, I don't need to keep this anymore, I can get rid of this, does this serve a purpose, am I using this, or can I donate it to someone else? So decluttering, donating your stuff, organizing your house, cleaning up, etc. is a good goal for Virgo new moon. Another goal you might want to set is to be focused on your studies and your learning. If you're returning to school or if you have some personal studies that you are undertaking, it's a good time to reevaluate those goals and maybe set up a kind of schedule and routine for your learning and reading, etc. Obviously, there is harvesting from your garden and preserving the foods. If you have a garden at this time, it's likely, if you're in the northern hemisphere, that garden is having all kinds of stuff be ready for harvest, and perhaps getting close to the last harvests that you'll make, so that you need to take care of the garden so that it can go to rest during the colder, darker months, and that all the things that you harvest from the garden can either be eaten or preserved and saved so that they can be eaten later on, or they can be distributed, whether you sell or donate or bake things into pies and give them to your friends. It is that season. And baking is an example of a really Virgo activity. You are taking these different ingredients and breaking them down and measuring them, and you have to mix them together at just the right quantities and cook them at just the right temperature in order to make this amazing thing. And if you don't pay attention to the details, it's not going to work out very well, right? You have to pay attention to the details and follow directions, and that's very Virgo energy. And then when you're done, you share it with others, because that's the fun part of baking something, is sharing with others, or baking something because it's going to nurture and care for other people. So all of that is very Virgo season stuff. So another goal or intention you might want to set is just about dedicating time and energy to helping others or some kind of sacred service. Virgo is related to the constellation of the Virgin, and the Virgin in Greek mythology relates to someone who is pure in their devotion to themselves or a task that they're doing. So they're not distracted by hookups and relationships and stuff, or husbands and stuff like that. They are just dedicated and devoted to either the harvest or whatever it is that they find sacred, that's not a marriage, right? So dedicating time and energy to anything that you feel is sacred, and this does not have to be sacred in the religious sense, but just what is important to you. What feels important? What draws your attention? What feels real and worthy of your time? And how are you devoted to spending energy on that thing? How are you dedicating time and energy? And so that is another thing to think about for your Virgo goals, is, are you dedicating time and energy to a devotion or a sacred service or helping others in some way? All right, I'm not going to talk too long today about this. I hope that you all have a fantastic new moon experience, and that you can set some amazing Virgo moon goals and then work on those goals consistently. That's the next step. You can't leave it out. You don't want to just make a wish or set a goal and then forget about it. If you make a goal or intention to get better organized in your house, then you need to get to work and actually organize your house, right? If you have a goal and intention for having a routine for better health and self-care, then you have to start working on that. And when you work on that goal, that is you watering the seed that you've planted. And the more that you nurture and water the seed that you plant, the healthier that plant is going to be when it grows. And that's how you build healthy habits. So, good luck on your journey, and I will see you again next time. I hope you come back again and listen to more of my podcasts. I'm happy to have you here. If you want to get a personalized astrology reading from me, you can come visit my website, www.hestiasmuse.net. And if you want to help support the ministry work that I do by providing these astrological updates, then please consider coming to join my Patreon, www.patreon.com/HestiasMuse, and you can make a small monthly donation there, and you get access to some other exclusive blog posts and stuff there too. So, thank you so much. Happy new moon!